My channel, I want to help men with dating, but I'm willing to help women with dating. I just want to help people lead happier, better lives. And Courtney Ryan is back with another video that I assume is going to be awesome, called Women Need to Hear This Brutal Truth. Let's see what she has to say and give our take.
And today we are reacting to a TikTok. Definitely a bit of a different speed than I typically react to, but an important one to hear nonetheless. I know this girl is an acquired taste. I personally think that she is absolutely hilarious. I know not all of you will like her, but regardless, she is telling a brutal truth here that I think women could really benefit from here.
Reacting to TikToks is always hard because it's so quick. You never get the real nuance to any statement anyone makes.
And even in the comment section of this video, it was like, thank you, I needed to hear this. Like, sometimes we need tough love. Sometimes we need someone to be no BS, straight to the point, blunt, and to bring us back down to earth. And that's what she does here. So this is her response to someone writing into her. So let's give it a watch.
My boyfriend never buys me flowers because he thinks it's a waste of money because they die. Okay, it's a girl, her name starts with B. But I think having flowers is so nice and I don't want to buy them for myself because I think it's kind of cringe. He does buy me other things and he does a lot for me, so that's not really the issue, but I just think it's so romantic to be surprised with flowers every once in a while. Okay, he does everything else for you, but you're hinging on the flowers. What an ungrateful little bitch. Like, who cares, okay? So buy yourself flowers. You're telling me that he does other things for you? What did he say? He does a lot for me. And
So far, bang on. Like, if your idea of romance is only like receiving flowers on occasion, like, that's such an empty kind of romance and pointless.
he buys me other things.
Grow up.
So you're gonna say the one thing he doesn't do you're gonna be so upset about? Bitch, you need to calm the fuck down, okay? Like, not everyone's perfect. You're probably lucky he's with you. He's gonna fucking leave your ass if you don't shut up. You're annoying.
I mean, she is not wrong.
I told him this, but I don't want too much pressure. I told him this, but I don't want to pressure him too much. What do you think? I love you. I really value your opinion. Okay, and don't show my name. Okay. Yeah, you're dumb, okay, and you're stupid. It's not a big of a fucking deal. It's flowers, okay? He does other things for you, and you're lucky he's with you because you sound very annoying, okay? You sound like a very annoying girl.
She's exactly right. If you're hyper focusing on one tiny thing like that, something as empty and meaningless as flowers, then you are incredibly annoying and incredibly stupid. And you're really hoping beyond hope that this guy doesn't realize that how stupid and annoying you are. So that's why she's saying you're lucky this guy's with you, because she's right. I mean, and guys do this kind of stuff too. They get focused on one aspect and don't see the big picture.
Girl, so he does a lot for you. He doesn't buy you flowers. Like, who cares?
That is the definition of a brutal truth. But again, I think it's something that a lot of people need to hear. Now, I have a bit of a different approach. I will say things more gracefully, more respectfully. That's just how I do things, okay? But that hits different. Let's be honest. The first thing I want to talk about is fixating on the negatives. I think we do this far too much.
Women in particular focus on the negative way too much. They will sit there and rag on a guy ad nauseum and hyper focus everything on that, and it's such a negative energy. It's such an opposite energy of what you should be bringing to a relationship. They'll overlook a million positive things and hyper focus on one negative thing that they insist needs to change and that everything needs to go their way at all times. It's such a horrible, it's just completely lacking in any teamwork. It's the opposite of teamwork. Be a team player. Don't drag down the team over like one thing that you perceive as negative based off of your own weird backwards mentality, right? Because this whole like flowers being romantic is such a hokey and materialistic, capitalistic thing. And I'm not somebody who bashes on capitalism at all, you know, but holy crap, are flowers pointless. They die within a couple of days. they're literally work. You have to feed them. You have to It's just so dumb. Then you have to deal with disposal, and they're overpriced. It's just the most empty, shallow, vapid thing you could possibly want from somebody. So to get hung up on that and overlook like hundreds of positives about the guy is just craziness.
As a woman, I will even just be so honest and say we do this too much. He does everything else for you, but you're fixating on the one thing that he doesn't. Nobody is perfect. No one can possibly live up to the standards and expectations or the fairy tale that you create in your mind. Okay, no one is perfect. If the one thing he doesn't do for you is get you flowers,
And a lot of women have this delusion that men in relationships with them need to exist to be this like slave, that everything needs to like service them and everything needs to go their way at all times. Like, yeah, men allow women to make like critical decisions on like purchases and a lot of things, but the overall like leadership of the relationship should go to men, mostly because men are very often a lot more positive, forward focused, teamwork oriented, and goal oriented, whereas women get completely lost in the sauce and will hyper focus on one thing they perceive as negative and allow that to become everything, and they just consist, they just keep going on about it and on about it and on about it, just this tiny negative materialistic pointless thing, and it becomes all they talk about, all they focus on. They waste so much energy on it. Like, not only are they not being a good teammate, a good partner, but in the aspect that they're bringing this negativity to the relationship, but they're so insistent and repetitive, and they're just wasting so much of their own time and ultimately their partner's time being this negative. It's like, just shut up and be positive. Like, it's not that hard to be a good teammate, and you need to be a good teammate.
think you're doing okay. If he does everything else for you, buys you other stuff but doesn't get you flowers, I think you're going to survive. Like, I think you can do it, girlfriend. It's okay. When she said he's going to leave you if you don't shut up, you're annoying. But really, I kind of agree.
Exactly. Because there are women out there who don't complain about this kind of stuff. They just choose to be normal. They choose to be positive. They choose to be a light in the life of the people around them and uplift the people around them. So this other group of women, which are kind of the majority, right? I'm going to say like 60% of women are just this negative, pessimistic, narcissistic, everything's about them, focus on one tiny negative thing and just nag about it repeatedly in hopes that it will just magically change, instead of approaching it in a nice way and being like, hey, can we kind of like change this up a little bit? It's like, no, it must be my way. It must be why my way 100% and blah, 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 blah. And they don't like present any kind of compromise, any kind of solution, any kind of teamwork. It's just nag, nag, nag.
I think we
And like, men realize this. Men talk about this. Men will 10 times out of 10 choose the like positive energy, the person who wants to function as a teammate and be actual partners, not be like this weird negative like Karen of a boss. Like, and I mean boss in like the most negative context imaginable, like a shitty boss that you work for that just abuses their power and like waves around their authority pointlessly, just for their own enjoyment, right? Just the absolute worst kind of person. And the thing is, you need that positivity. We all need that positivity in our life, and to be that uplifting person, that person who uplifts others. And nothing will uplift you more yourself than being that for other people, right? Because it gives them the ability, the room, the space to be that for you in return. And some people won't be, right? Sometimes you'll give people that energy and they'll come at you with this negative energy. Like, I hear stories of men doing this too. So if they're doing that, whether they're a man or a woman, if they're coming at you with all this negativity, focusing on one tiny little pointless thing, just cut them out. Just gone. Get out of that relationship as soon as possible before you're just find somebody who's positive. It's so much easier. It will make everything better.
We get very fixated on the negatives instead of focusing on the positives and the things that someone does do for us. And I think this is something that
This exact attitude is what brings um so many women down to number ratings. Like, people like to rate people on a scale of numbers, and this type of weird delusion and narcissism, it'll take an 8 to a 6 in a split second, right?
is missing in so many long-term relationships, and ultimately I think leads to
And if it's bad enough, it'll take you down like 3 4 numbers easy. It can take an 8 to a 4 if they're constantly like this. If they jump from one thing, one negative thing they to hyper focus on and waste their time on, to the next negative thing to waste their time on, and they're constantly wasting your time and just being an awful person, it will throw down that number four full digits easy.
the relationship falling apart because we fail to acknowledge the things that we're actually doing for each other and the positives within the relationship because we get so fixated on what's not going well, what someone's not doing for us, and the negatives. Now, sometimes it is important to look at the negatives because they're a big enough deal to break up with someone, right? There are things that should not be happening in relationships. But someone not buying you flowers, I wouldn't consider that to be one of them. And
Yeah, it is light years away from being one of them. That is such a vapid and shallow element to a relationship. Well, first of all, it's an insanely moronic requirement of a relationship for anyone to have, because there's a million things about a person, and them simply, the fact that the guy in this story hasn't, like, that he hasn't started buying her flowers, and that there hasn't been like additional discussions beyond her occasionally nagging him, shows to me that he refuses to engage with that negativity and that narcissism, which is exactly what he should be doing. He should also be like very close to leaving this relationship. And that's exactly what he should be doing, because he understands the value of teamwork and positive energy and being there for each other and uplifting each other, where she doesn't get that at all. So
in the
definitely.
grand scheme of things, in the grand scheme of life, is it really that important that your boyfriend buys you flowers if he does a ton of other stuff for you and buys you other things? No.
Yeah, like, men typically want to buy things that are practical and useful and that you'll enjoy. Something that you'll only enjoy like looking at and maybe smelling for like one day, and wasting potentially hundreds of dollars on that is really terrible, especially in today's economy where everyone's wallets are getting tighter and tighter. We're approaching 2024, and I saw a news article saying that every person will be spending, or it might have been every household actually, every household will be spending 400 more dollars on food next year than they did this year. That's terrifying for for almost anyone who's not like mega rich and doesn't have like multiple income streams and isn't killing it. That's scary. Like, me and my partner, we each make over 100,000. Now, granted, she's been out of work for a little bit, but holy freaking crap, even we feel that kind of squeeze, right? So I can't imagine people who are like on welfare or disability. And to if there was ever a time like, this is the worst time to care about these materialistic things in like 100 years. in over 100 years, really. So yeah, just epically dumb. Be positive.
There are literally people dying. Okay, it's like the Kardashian episode when Kim loses her earring and she's like so upset, and Courtney's like, Kim, there are literally people dying. There are people dying. I think you'll be okay. But really, we need to stop fixating on crap that doesn't actually matter. The economy is rough these days, okay? And I also want to say this. If it's not the flowers, it's something else. My concern here is that we want more and more and more, and it's never enough. He buys you other things, he does so much other stuff for you, but it's still not enough because he doesn't get the flowers. When will it be enough?
And I want anybody who watches this video to understand, because a lot of women, for some reason, they would see something like this, and they, even if say they disagree and they're like, yeah, I can see how flowers are a waste of time, they're overpriced, they're ridiculous, they're kind of a burden as they have to be like watered and thrown away. um they'll see something that's that dumb, and they'll totally agree that it's dumb, but they'll think, oh, well, that person's dumb. Then they'll immediately go and nag their boyfriend for not taking them to the movies enough, or like whatever tiny thing it is. It's like they just can't utilize that self-awareness and apply these same things to themselves. They'll literally like reduce it down to just being about flowers, when the flowers are like just one particular example of hundreds, thousands of things, thousands of scenarios where women do this exact thing. You need to all stop doing it about everything. This nagging, narcissistic, self-centered, basically abuse, it just needs to stop. Be positive. If there's something that you don't like in your relationship, talk about it. And if you're picking up the vibe that it's not going to change, I'll tell you what, it's probably not going to freaking change. And you need to like get some actual perspective and start being a positive light in people's lives, please.
When will it be enough? When he gets you the flowers, will you then find something else to fixate on that he doesn't do? Probably, because that is what we do. And I also have a question that I want to ask all of you who are watching. Do you think that this mentality would be as prominent as it is if social media didn't exist? Because I don't think it would.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%, Courtney Ryan. So many people buy into this, right? Just like a lot of people have this like main character syndrome, and they buy into what like movies show of real life and relationships, and that's so fake and dumb. Social media is also fake and dumb. A lot of women, for some reason, especially, they fall into this trap where they think that this is reality, and it's not, right? I'm going to give you a few examples. So there's this girl I went to high school with. She posts the most travel pictures on social media of anyone I've ever seen, right? And she is at least 90, I'm going to say 95% of the time, she's just traveling. She's to this country, to that country, to that country, to that country. She's in Vegas, then Dubai, then Paris, then Sydney, Australia, then Brazil. Like, it's a never-ending stream of traveling. She's never not traveling. She's not a travel blogger. She literally um posts on her social media, and she literally just has this in like the description. She says that she works in like a general industry where there would be a tiny bit of travel, like maybe like twice a year you would travel for it, but it's a very competitive industry. So she is 100% capping this girl I went to high school with, right? She is so obvious to me that she is a high-end escort. You know, I've got no problem with that. Nice girl, got nothing bad to say about it, right? And like I barely even know her. I don't think I've ever even had an actual conversation with her. She just gave me a friend request a really long time ago on Facebook. So anyway, she is definitely a high-end escort, and that's how she can travel all around the world all the time. She's traveling to different countries to bang these different dudes, right? Good for her. That's what she wants to do. You know, all the power to you. But I could see other women looking at her social media and not picking up on this, not figuring that out, right? They would just think, oh, well, she's just really successful in this industry and somehow can just constantly travel and lives this super luxurious life with like not having, she must not work a lot, right? She must not work too often. What a beautiful, gorgeous life. When in reality, she's probably got all kinds of major, major issues, and she's probably nothing like her social media presents itself as, right? When every picture you have is you traveling and having fun, yeah, you're definitely traveling, but I doubt you're really having that much fun. Like constantly going on planes all over the place and never, you never really get to have a life that way, right? I doubt she owns property anywhere. I doubt she, I'm sure by the time she's done her run doing it, she'll have not a dime to her name. And that's fine. I'm not saying anybody should live their life any certain way, but get some perspective on what's actually going on when you see stuff on social media. And there's tons of people. You got to think people are posting the most positive stuff in their life. They're not posting the ugly stuff. They're making their lives look so luxurious and their relationships look so amazing and fantastical. It's just not the reality at all. So it's it's a weird way that women have like found a way to like monetize and capitalize on the jealousy that women have towards each other and that competitiveness. In some ways, it's kind of brilliant, but it's completely fake. It's the fakest crap out there. Like these people aren't aren't living the lives. They're trying to sell you on the fact that they're living this awesome lifestyle. So you'll follow, so you'll like their posts, so you'll want to be them. They're they're giving you a product. You just haven't realized that they're giving you a product. They're selling you something and it isn't real. And I can see the negative impacts that that has on society and relationships in general.
I think we are constantly comparing our lives and relationships to strangers that we see online and thinking that, oh, they have that, I deserve that. Oh, her boyfriend bought her a Chanel bag. Well, I want a Chanel bag. I want my boyfriend to buy me a Chanel bag. Oh, her boyfriend bought her flowers. I want my boyfriend to buy me flowers. Even though he probably does a lot of other wonderful things for you. I will be so transparent here and tell you, I've even found myself, if I spend too much time online, when I am chronically online, I start to play the comparison game. And it's almost like you start to forget all the things that someone does for you because you're looking at so many things that they don't.
Exactly. That's what social media does. It highlights the things you don't have. And it's hard, right? Like, I understand that myself personally, I have an incredible amount of self awareness and self, like, actualization. I think that's the word. I'm just confident in myself and I can find happiness in having nothing. I grew up not having much of anything, right? My parents have never owned property in their lives. When they're gone, there's nothing, right? There's no inheritance, there's nothing. In fact, there's probably like just debt to you know what I mean? But so I could be like on welfare, living in a crap hole apartment, and guess what? My life's gonna be still awesome, and I'm gonna be happy. And I don't care what other people have. I'm not gonna feel entitled to what other people have. If I want stuff, I'm gonna work hard for it, and I'm gonna get it one way or another. And a lot of people just think should just have it all. They want it all. They don't care if their partner can't afford it, if their partner's actually contributing, like genuinely spending a huge portion of their money on them. It's like, no, it has to be more, more, more. And this endless negativity, materialistic selfishness. And it's very persistent.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I have experienced this firsthand. You've got to check yourself and recognize when it's happening to you. Luckily, I'm able to pick up on when it's happening, and
I mean,
I snap myself out.
it's not just comparison, it's false comparison. That's the thing. It's just a complete lack of perspective and self-awareness. I've like I can constantly compare what I have to what other people have. There's tons of stuff that I would love to have, right? I would love to not have anxiety issues. I would love to just have more money. I would love to like have a vacation home, have a better vehicle, have fix up my house in ways that I just can't afford to, right? I would love that. I see other people's houses, they're gorgeous, they're phenomenal. And I know people where they're going to inherit a giant amount of money. They're already getting like tons of money from their parents who are wealthy, or they have all these like crazy opportunities and they've found themselves so much success and happiness. And I think, you know what? I want that, but I don't let it get me down and I don't allow it to cloud my judgment. I see that I have a family who loves me. I have loved ones around me. I have friends that I get along with most people, and I find and I know that myself. I find happiness in the tiniest of things. I can sit there and daydream, and my brain will just come up with funny stuff that makes me laugh. At least once a month for years now. At least maybe not once a month, at least once every other month. I literally wake up because something so funny happens in my dream that I can't stop laughing and it wakes me up. You know, and people just lose sight of what makes them happy. And it like comparison, I think, is actually really critical. That's why I'm saying this. Comparison's important because it gives you that like realistic perspective. It's just that for some reason so many people, they allow that to somehow make them lose perspective, and I don't really understand why. It's like I feel like I've pointed this out to so many people in my life. I'm like, you've got a pretty great life. Like you have opportunities here to do really cool stuff that you're going to enjoy. You're a good person, you're funny, you're awesome. You're an awesome person. Just allow yourself to be happy. Stop taking the joy from yourself. You're robbing yourself of joy. You don't have to. It's a bad strategy.
Out of that, I get offline, I go hug my husband, and I thank him for the things he does for me. We've got to stop playing the comparison game. You will always be unhappy and unsatisfied and disappointed if you continue to do this. My point is that we need to practice gratitude and appreciation for the things that people do for us. And also consider, what are we doing for them? Your boyfriend probably wants you to be doing a lot of things that you're not doing. But you don't see him riding into some...
It's true. He just puts up with it because he can see the good in the other aspects. He keeps an open mind and a honest perspective on the whole picture. And yeah, he's not riding you to fucking improve all this stuff. So like, get off his back.
Lady about it.
Be a good person and a good
Be the partner you
teammate.
seek. If you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk.
Exactly. If this guy's doing everything, he's buying you these gifts, just not flowers, then you want him to go above and beyond. You want him to go above and beyond. You better be going above and beyond yourself. You better be doing everything he wants you to do. You better be buying him stuff. And you better be doing the extras. You better be surprising him with stuff that he would never expect you to get him. You better be doing that. Or else you're a lunatic to be expecting that from your partner if you're not giving it.
Now, I also want to share two different perspectives because that's what I do here. The first one being, in the little thing she said he thinks that flowers are a waste of money because they die. And, there's truth in that. They do die. I can totally get that perspective, but she likes them, right? It is a nice gesture to do things that your partner likes and that makes them feel special. If they explicitly say to you, I feel really special when we spend time together before bed and we talk. Or I feel special when you communicate to me what your plans are so that I know what's going on. Or I feel really special when you surprise me with flowers. We're all into different things. The motivation behind it's different as well, and whether it's realistic or not, it's a different story. But I want to offer a different perspective because I think this is important in relationships as well, that you should keep dating your partner. You should do things that make them feel special. You should want to make them feel loved and appreciated.
Exactly, 100%. And like she was just giving examples there of there's a way to communicate things without being a horrible cesspool of negativity.
And we feel love and appreciation in different ways. Some people feel loved and appreciated when you empty the dishwasher. Some people feel loved and appreciated when you buy them a gift. Some people feel loved and appreciated when you give them a compliment, okay? So I think it's important to acknowledge that and really try to be mindful of it when you're in a relationship. Don't let yourself go. Don't let yourself get complacent. We should continue to appreciate our partners and show affirmation and show gratitude and make them feel special. I think it's important. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys like things that your girlfriend or wife doesn't like and probably thinks is a waste of money, but they do it anyway. Or maybe they don't, I don't know. I've told you guys this before, but a lot of times when I go to the store by myself, I'll buy my husband gum. Is that a waste of money? Well, not to me because he likes it. Is he gonna chew it up and spit it out and it's gone? Yeah. Are you gonna buy flowers, have them on your counter for a week and they'll die? Yeah. But they like it. And that makes me feel good that I'm doing something for him that he likes. And I also need to mention that he likes the fancy gum without all the crazy chemicals, so it legitimately costs the same as a bouquet from Trader Joe's before you all come at me for saying, well, flowers are more expensive than gum. It's just an example. Okay, don't get your panties in a bunch. You can get a stem of flowers at Trader Joe's for $4.99, and that's all it takes to make someone feel special. Okay, so that's one perspective. A lot of you aren't gonna like that, but I think it's important to share both sides of the equation. But on the other side of the equation, I buy myself flowers almost every week. It is not cringe to buy them for yourself. If you want them that bad, buy it yourself. So again, I see both sides. I think it's important to see both.
And that makes a lot of sense, right? Because from a male's perspective, I don't know what flowers you're gonna like. I don't even know where you buy flowers. I don't care. Like, it's a huge waste of money. But if you want to waste a little bit of money, that's fine. But like, go get it yourself. Like, I don't know what flowers you're gonna like, or like what makes a good one compared to a not good one. And yeah, if I have like endless amounts of time and I'm right there at a place that sells them, all right, you know what, fine, that's a nice thing to do for sure. But where I live, there's not that many businesses around. I genuinely don't know where you would even buy flowers, right? And I don't want to have to do like all of this work when I can just buy you something else that's nice and convenient and that you like, right? I can give you that special feeling without having to like spend hours researching this crap.
Both sides. But I think ultimately what it really comes down to is your partner a good partner? Is your husband or boyfriend a good husband? Is your girlfriend or wife a good wife? If they buy you flowers or not does not determine if they are or they aren't. That's not a determining factor. I'm sorry, I hate to burst bubbles, I hate to crush dreams, but it's not. What actually matters is respect, aligned values, and life goals.
I like that she says that, respect and life goals. Because that's the critical thing, and that's where a lot of women go wrong, is they bring this narcissism, self-centeredness, and Like bombarding your partner with all that negativity shows a lack of respect. Overlooking all these nice things that they do and hyper focusing on one thing that they don't do, that's incredibly disrespectful. And that actively wastes your time and your partner's time, which is just takes them further away from achieving their goals and your shared goals. And you have to understand that that's what you're doing. You're wasting so much time to hyper focus on this negative aspect, and then you're highlighting it again and again, and you're wasting both people's time, and you're frustrating yourself and your partner. You're wasting time to have the end result of wasting even more time. Meaning you focusing and spending so much time thinking about this and focusing on it is one waste of time. Bringing it to your partner and stressing them out and like annoying them and showing that disrespect to them, it wastes their time because it frustrates them and it hurts them. So then they have to spend all this time considering how much can they even put up with, do they want out of this relationship? So then you're wasting even more time. And then ultimately, if it leads to the relationship ending, then you've wasted an even larger amount of time. So it's like a 3-tiered cake of wasting time, when really the plate should be completely clean, because you shouldn't have wasted even 1 second on any of it. But instead you've built this giant like 3-tiered cake of wasted time and frustration, when you could have just been a positive, nice, teamwork oriented person.
Having empathy, effective communication, showing appreciation for each other, acknowledging the things that you do well in your relationship, giving each other encouragement and support, these are things that make someone a good partner. Now, is someone buying you flowers a nice gesture? Absolutely it is. I think it's so sweet and so nice to make your partner feel special, but it's not a necessity for a healthy relationship. Let's really come back down to earth. It's a bit difficult to have sympathy for someone not getting the flowers they want when there are so many horrific things happening in the world. I think you'll be okay.
Exactly. It's not important. It's not worth focusing on. And I love this kind of video where you take something that's so small, like that TikTok clip at the beginning was so short, but Courtney Ryan has like reacted to it in such a long, detailed, thought out way. I like it, and I've made points on top of her points, right? I love that style of video.
Okay. And what I want you to take away from this video, my point of this whole thing, is that we should really try to spend more time focusing on what we do have rather than what we don't, and what someone does do for us versus what they don't, and the positives versus the negatives.
Oh yeah, especially when the positives are like, when it's like 1,000 positives to 1 negative, you have to focus on those 1,000. Think about it. Think about how many times you've heard other people preach the power of positivity. Literally millions of people have that mindset. Millions of people. Because it's effective. It works. It's how people get good at stuff. It's how people have effective relationships, is they choose to be positive and teamwork oriented. And they choose to uplift others around them, and then the others around them uplift them too. No one gets it to the top by themselves. Everyone has help along the way, and it starts with you. It has to start with you. It can't start anywhere else but with you.
Because this is how you cultivate happiness, by being grateful, by being thankful, by showing appreciation.
Exactly, showing appreciation, focusing on the positive. The power of positivity is important, because imagine that, or like really imagine how crazy it is to focus on that one negative and not focus on the 1,000 positive, right? Because even if it was the other way around, no, maybe not the other way around, but let's say it was 50-50 positive to negative, I'd still say you should focus on the positive, because focusing on positive creates more positive in your life. That's what positive energy and a positive mindset does, is you draw yourself towards the positive, and that just brings more positive towards you. You're pulling the positive out of places you never expected it would be. You're creating more positivity in your life. That's what you're doing. That's what you need to do. So think about how insane it is to focus on the one negative in 1,000 positives. That's the absolute opposite of what you should be doing. The last thing you should ever do, ever, is focus on the negative, especially when it's such a tiny, absurd thing.
Appreciation and gratitude.
So you have to understand that just in you living your life, in your perspective of your relationship, in being a partner in a relationship, you focusing on that negative is you doing absolutely everything wrong. You are doing things as wrong as you possibly could be doing them.
If you are always looking at what you don't have, if you're always focused on the next best thing, if you're always chasing something that you don't have, or you're not acknowledging what you do have, you will never be happy. You will always be dissatisfied.
It's true, because it will never be enough. You will always be able to find the negatives in life, in people, in aspects of life. There will always be both positive and negative to some extent. So yeah, if you want to be negative all the time and miserable all the time, you can have that for yourself. That can be your life. Or you can just focus on the positive and always have positive in your life and always be positive. Being positive, I can tell you, not only does it sound a lot better, but it is a lot better.
You will always be disappointed, and you will never be happy. Wanting more, never being satisfied, it's not healthy. And again, transparently here, I've even fallen into this too. It's very easy to do. It's always, what's next? I want more. This isn't enough. What's the next thing? You have got to start appreciating what you have.
I'll give you an example. My job that I currently work, it's work, right? Like, it's a great job. There's not that much responsibility, and the pay is really, really good. I don't think I could find a better job in the entire region. I might have one of the best jobs out there that the person can reasonably have. Outside of like working from home, there's probably no better job than the one I have. It's incredible. It's amazing. It's mind-blowingly good. But there's a lot of negative things about it, right? Like, I don't like the management style of the management, which is often just not managing things. There's a lot of coworkers who have interesting ideas of each other, and some with really bad work ethics, and sometimes you get kind of like stuck carrying the weight for other people, and certain things are unfair. People get promotions that aren't deserved. People who deserve like promotions and raises often don't get them. A lot of things could be a lot better, and so many people, you'll find this in any workplace, where your coworkers just get so focused on the negative. They lose sight of like, it doesn't matter. There's no way you should ever be focusing on the negative of your workplace outside of work. You should not care at all about what happens at work outside of work. You can choose to, though. You can make it your entire personality, is that you really hate your job. And guess what? You will annoy everyone around you all of the time. Get a personality, focus on yourself, and be positive, right? Even if your job sucks, even if your job deluxe, guess what? You can laugh about it, you can make jokes about it, and you can choose to be positive about it. The beautiful thing about work is you get to leave. You leave it there. Boom. The second you walk out the door, it should be no longer in your head, because that place that you work doesn't matter. The people you work with, they don't matter.
And in your relationships, really acknowledging
it's true of like every other aspect of life,
what your partner actually does for you. Because if you write it down, or you really sit down to think about it, it's probably far more than you realize. And if it's not, well, then maybe that's an issue. But whether or not they buy you flowers should not be the determining factor. I'm going to stop it here before I continue to ramble. That's all I have for this video. If you liked it or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content.
Subscribe to Courtney
If you haven't
Ryan.
already, be
She's
sure to follow
awesome.
me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as
I'll
well.
like the video. I'm already
Again,
subscribed.
I know this lady is an acquired
She's Courtney
taste,
Ryan.
but I think
Follow
nonetheless,
her.
at the end of the day, this is a
Like her
brutal
videos.
truth.
She has a lot of them. She's been around for a while. She has 605 videos. Her oldest one is 4 years ago. Looks like skincare and talking about dating. I should check out some of her older videos. They look interesting. I've only seen like her newer stuff and I really like them. But yeah, cool. Awesome. Hope you liked the video. Like my video and subscribe to me as well. I really appreciate it. And I want to do more of this like dating reaction type stuff. My favorite Am I the Butthole Reddit stories are ones about relationships, and just people allow relationships to go so crazy so often. They don't need to. But I hope you have a good day either way.